All right, good morning, traders. Welcome to the Bookmap. Hold on just a moment. Sorry. All right, good morning, traders. Welcome to the Bookmap order flow analysis with Bruce. I'll be your host here, and we'll go through live order flow using Bookmap, understanding the behavior of the participants in the auction process on low time frames, higher time frames, micro structural time frames. So the goal here is just to use Bookmap and understand this behavior to gain insight to where price might go. The market is made up of orders, and it is the behavior of the orders, participants using orders, that gives us this insight, and that's how you can use order flow to your advantage. You may have all sorts of higher time frame technical indicators, etc. Those are all derivatives of order flow, or time, price, and volume for the most part. Right? So general disclosure, all Bookmap Ltd materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. Risk disclosure, trading futures, equities, and digital currencies involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. All right, let's jump in. Let's take a look. We can look at any market that you guys like. Yesterday, I can go over a few trades maybe from yesterday as well. I did not take any this morning, and I'm glad I did not. The CPI data that came out, you can see this pretty big move down to the downside, 20 points, and then an equal move to the upside here, and then it's kind of done the same thing over and over again a few times in here. So now we're on our way back up. The market's trying to digest exactly what this means. And we can take a look at the current order flow in here and gain some insight just by looking at the volume dots and bars within the structure. Okay, we can maybe target high liquidity up here at 15 and 20, but there's a lot of buy volume coming in now after a lot of sell volume. Look at the bars, look at these dots and the color. The red dots are market sell orders, green dots are market buy. These are the aggressors that move price. And where did they move it to? Well, high liquidity down here on the bid, as you guys can see here, around this 180 level. And then you can see that buyers came right back in after this selling barrage here that failed to make a lower low, as well as it failed to trade into these 1,800 contracts down here at 180. All right, so what do we find? Well, we find buyers. They lift that market back up to where that barrage of selling came in. And now we're going to look to see if we can get some continuation out of this or not. And we're going to look at the volume to help us gauge that, okay? Because we're up at this level here. This is the key level for the moment. And this is where we want to understand the auction and the transactions in the auction. All right, let's put some market structure on this and we'll take a look here. Right, so yeah, let's just see if we can get maybe some buying in here to try to lift this back up. Doesn't look too good at the moment. You can see that strong buying in here on the way up, some selling as a pullback, some profit taking, strong buying starting to come in again. But look at the end result here as it broke the range here from just after the open here at 9:30. Okay, it made a high. It did print a high here. However, there's not a whole lot of buying up here, and there's a whole lot of selling that just came in. Okay, so this is what we want to gauge in here and gain some insight in here. So we can see our trend line. Well, there's some support there. They're buying off of it. We can see buyers out of this little area here. Now that's good, but we want to see it up a little higher here. And we want to see continuation and follow through. So this looks pretty good so far. We can see we're pulling back. And now if we come back up here and we can see some more buying, then it's looking more likely then that we can trade back up to the swing and then maybe break out. Okay, now you can see what happened here. We did not get any buyers. We got a little bit more selling, and broke this small trend line and traded back down to the bottom of this range here, or close to the bottom of this small range here. Okay, so we have less insight right now. We can look for the opposite scenario as well. And what's that going to look like? Well, we'd look for a retest back down here with a lot of selling. And if we can get that, we have the potential to break back down to lower levels here. All right, so and the level we'd be looking for would likely be, well, the first swing is it's right around this 06 level here, but the next level would probably be down around this 04 level or so, somewhere around there. And we can mark those up. See, that's where that buying came in here, and this is our first level here. Okay, boy, not a whole lot of insight at the moment, guys. It's just really not telling us much here. Okay, a bit more buying starting to come in, but again, like, we got to see it up at these levels here. We want to see that strong, consistent buying. And that would be our impulse move that we're looking for. Thanks, Alois. Yeah. So we've got a few different lines here. The CVD is the green, green and blue at least, or teal. The regular blue here is the icebergs, and the red line is the stops. In fact, let me take CVD off. We'll just simplify it. Okay, stops and icebergs. So we just traded down to our level here, and we just had a lot of iceberg buying coming in. Okay, well, that means larger player likely using iceberg orders to get filled here. How many is it? Well, let's see. It was 1146 on up to about 1071, negative 1146. So you know, I don't know, about 150 or so, somewhere around in there. Yeah. So, or I'm sorry, it looks like about 70-ish. Anyway, we know there's some iceberg buying in here, and they continued again here, but price is still going lower. Okay, so this is why we use the iceberg as a confluence. Is not a signal here. Oh, it's you would think, oh wow, okay, larger players using icebergs getting filled in here. Does not matter. Order flow rules first. The icebergs is a subsector within the order flow or the transactions here. All right, so the it's just showing that there were some larger players here, and that's it. There's all sorts of other players in here that are more important, that are kind of dominating here, and you can see at the moment there's more selling. So I'm looking for sellers to drop this back down to our level here that we're looking for at this kind of 04 or 03 and a half or so. Okay, and you can see that well, we didn't get enough either there, bottom of this range. In fact, more buyers back up here. Still pretty, you know, not giving us much insight. We're really not getting much out of this right now. There's buyers at the top, there's sellers at the bottom, and we're right back in the middle here. Okay, we're looking for one of these scenarios to work out. Okay, so now we're coming back up and we're seeing more buyers. Now, do they have the potential to break this area? Looks pretty good. This is a lot more buying than we had over here. So let's see if we can get back up into not only this swing high here around 11. Let's see if we can get back up into maybe 15 here. Right, so we're getting a bit of a pullback. And again, look at the buying up here. Okay, where we really, it's crucial when that's where we really want to see it here, and we're not getting it. Okay, so again, if we do not get that kind of buying up here, we have the potential to move right back into this range. So this looks pretty strong and consistent in here, but it fell short up here, right? And you can see the sellers coming in. So no one's willing to take this higher. That's what these participants are telling us right now. They're willing to trade it back into the range and top of the range, but they're not willing to take it higher. Okay, so watch and see if we can get more sellers willing to take it right back down here. Okay, and then we would look for a move probably back down to about this 07.5 or so here. Okay, a few bold souls up here trying to take this higher. Okay, highs of the cash. Is it the cash session? Yeah, highs of just the cash session here. And again, you know, we're not really seeing anything yet. Okay? They were able to trade it higher here, but I'm not seeing much follow through here. In fact, look at that high liquidity on the offer right here, and look at the sellers come right back in. Okay, so back down to this little range here. Okay, and let's see if we can get a bit more selling and come back down to our 07.5 level that we were looking at earlier. Okay, maybe to the other side here, 06. Okay, range bound activity. I'm hoping this helps here understand the transactions and order flow, what you're looking for in that impulse move, and buying at the tops of these ranges in here, not tapering off, allowing sellers to come back in and move it back into the range and other side of the range. Okay, we see this quite a bit. Okay, a lot of questions in here, so let me try to get to them. Good morning, Alan. Yeah, let me also cover, you know, the rollover period here. I want to just show you something very simple. This is what I do for the rollover. Just to understand the volume, just input a simple Google search or whatever you use. Volume ES CME. Okay, that's it. This will take me to the contract specs for the volume and open interest. Let's click on that. You can see that they've considered it rolled over here to the M contract. Yesterday it was the H. Let's just scroll down though and get into the details, because the details really matter. You know, you can see here's the March contract. This is the Globex volume. This is the total volume here. So we can see, you know, 1.8 million. It has rolled to 2.2 million for the June contract now. Okay, so the volume has rolled, you know, quite obviously here. Another thing it depends on how you want to trade it, and if you're a swing trader or, you know, hedging or whatever it is, and you want to keep these things open, you might want to really look into the open interest, when you see that flip over, which you usually will see the open interest, you know, decreasing just like this here heavily from the March side, and then adding here into the open interest on the June contract. So anyway, that's I mean, we have very clearly flipped now to the new contract. Now let's take a look though at the order flow in the heat map in Bookmap. Okay, so it's looking better, a little bit more clear, but there's still, as you can see, like a lot of people, a lot of traders are still kind of moving over into the new contract, you can see the liquidity in these areas here. It is very close to current price action. Okay? That distinction in here gives us insight in saying that this is the behavior in here. that people are willing to buy and sell pretty close to the current price, but they're looking for their price, and but they're not waiting at these longer time frame levels. You can see some of that behavior in here, but not much, like up here at 15, or you can see right now in 11, between 11 and 12, some new players just came in here providing high liquidity on the offer. They want to be sellers here. Okay? And anyway, when you see this kind of behavior in here, let's just open up SPY, for example. And I want to show you this just so anyone who is new to Bookmap and wants to understand the heat map and why liquidity is different in different instruments. It's because these instruments are used differently. Okay? In fact, let's look at Stan. We'll look at the euro. Oops, not the spot. We'll look at the 6E, which I actually may have not flipped over yet. They flip quite a bit later, or like some days later. All right, here we got a flip of the book, guys. Look at this. Liquidity on the offer, flip to the bid. We're finding buyers. Okay, we got a stop run here, but looking for it to continue on up to 15 here. Okay, that would be the knee-jerk reaction. It is tapering off though, so you know, still looking for it though. This is a nice kind of breakout impulse move. But you know, this is where you have to be really kind of careful about it. We are looking for it to continue, but see this taper here? We need to see more buy volume again at this area here, and then we can get the move, and we're getting it, so we should get the move. Anyway, the nice flip of the book. In fact, it's a good example. I used to see it a lot more often. Right at the same price level, you can see the high liquidity that's filled. The flip, what is it? Behavior that is illegal for flipping is when you have high liquidity on the offer, it pulls. You'll see price run through that area very quickly and trigger a lot of stops, and they flip to the bid here very quickly as well. So these players here had no intention to trade, and they pulled at the last minute. In fact, let's just zoom in here and let's make sure that they transacted. And it looks like they did, and they did. They stayed in the book, right? But here you can see how aggressive that flip was. Okay, so this is from here on over. We're talking, I don't know, you know, some milliseconds here, or 1 second. Yeah, just 1 second. So the flip took place in a second or so. Actually, it flipped kind of immediately, but anyway, now we're looking at, like, you know, within 100 milliseconds or so, we can see the flip starting to emerge. But after about a second or 800 milliseconds, you can see it really started to gain traction there, and we see the follow through upside here. Okay. All right. So this also, as you guys can see here, starts to outline these areas in here. So we're trading up to 20 liquidity. We traded through the 15. We're up to 20. We would anticipate a pullback at this point. It's a pretty strong impulsive move, or impulse move here, and an on strong buy volume. It may continue, but let's just see if we can see some telltale signs of maybe some exhaustion and a bit of selling starting to come in, profit taking, and just a pullback, a slight pullback, maybe down to about 17 here, and it could turn into something more, right? So at this point, maybe we're just not finding buyers at these higher highs, and we're just anticipating this. It already made a good move. It traded into high liquidity on the way up. So just going through the basics again in the order flow. Now, let's jump over to that SPY, and let me show you this, because see the liquidity in here and the way this is being used. A lot of algorithmic activity in here. You can see very clearly see it even on this time frame here. You don't have to be zoomed into the these millisecond levels here. But can you guys see this? You see how like high liquidity pulled and then systematically added a bit higher here and then pulled. Now, as price is coming up, these guys are pretty far away from price, yet this was their behavior. This was the algo's behavior, and then it pulled, added up a bit higher here, and then price just, well, whatever the behavior was, they pulled from this level here and added it back down to where they were. Okay, so note how this liquidity is vastly different than the ES. And this doesn't have any rollover or anything like that. This is the way the SPY is being used, though. This is heavily hedged, and you can see that behavior in here. Lots of different players doing lots of different things with them. All right. So the 6E, for example, it as well. Different players in the markets, different behavior, therefore. It's all kind of similar. There's rhyme and reason to it, but you can very clearly see it's different behavior. These markets too, heavily hedged and arbitraged. Okay, so this is where you can use the another tool that we have, the TraderMap Pro tool, to filter out some of this shorter term liquidity in here. In fact, let's just go through it. This TraderMap Pro tool is used with the, or it's part of the market, the MBO bundle, market by order indicator bundle that we have. So if you're interested in that and you trade these markets here. So in fact, let me see, Stan, what was your answer here? I asked you and then I left. Yeah, you are. Okay. Yeah, I thought you would be after the CPI data. Good morning, Stephen. Good morning, Kenji. Yeah, we'll get into this TraderMap Pro, Kenji. This will answer your question. There you go. Yeah, Stephen's all over it. Yeah, we can look at gold and NQ, Alan. Let me go through a few things here, then we'll get into that. Z, I have some trades I could show from yesterday. I got stopped out on it. In fact, I'd like to go through that as well, but I'll have to. I took a screenshot and I'll have to show that to you. And then I can show you the trading journal as well. I think I'm caught up. Okay, yeah. All right, so where is our TraderMap Pro in here? There it is. Okay, let's remove this one. We'll add a new one. We're on the 6E. Filters. Okay, we're going to go with a filter here called order change filter. And then you have a couple different drop downs in here. So the orders that changed, they would be filtered out. Okay, so instead we're going to go with ones that were not changed. I'm sorry, we're going to show only. I'm sorry, that was incorrect. If we have it unchanged, it will show only those that were changed. We're going to change it to not changed. So show orders that were not changed by price or size. Okay, now you can click on this drop down and go by price or size or both. Okay, so it's up to you. We'll go with this one and we'll press play, and you can see what happens. It opens up a new instrument, a synthetic instrument here. Okay, and then we're going to look at that. And we're going to see if how much this helped us here. Maybe it didn't help us much. Okay, interesting. I thought we'd also get the historical data here. We might not have it on the 6E. We certainly have it on the NASDAQ, but anyway, you can kind of see a little bit. It filtered out some of that noise. So that longer term liquidity that stays in the order book is what we're looking for to gain insight from that. I'll have to check with the guys on this. Looks like I don't have much historical data here. I thought that it did it, but guess not. Yeah, I'll have to double check on that. So we can definitely do it on the NASDAQ. Okay. So anyway, some ideas to take a look at in here. Let's actually go to the NASDAQ and let's see. Trader Map Pro was down here. Here we go. Okay. And we'll just flip this over to NASDAQ right there. Play. Great. And why we're doing it on the NASDAQ, because look at the NASDAQ as well. Okay, now we see some of that high liquidity in here. It's just trading up into it right now, but see this kind of halo around the price action. That's liquidity on the offer and then liquidity on the bid. We're trying to gain insight in here. So I got actually some funny data. It should be working here. It's still installing or downloading. There we go. Okay. All right. So, and it filtered out some, but not a whole lot. But we'd have to filter out some more, which is fine. Yeah, this is still in rollover period, basically. Some of it for sure. And so that's just the condition of the orders right now. All right, so let's see other questions. Let's go back to the ES and take a look here. Okay, so we're looking for a pullback up into this. No, we are here at 20 and then looking for a pullback. Boy, a pretty mild pullback, guys. We were looking for maybe a move back down into like 17 here or so. That pullback was very, very mild. You can see it just kind of spiked below here to 18, below this little range. Now, this is pretty typical, though. This little spike here is it. That's all we got out of it. Why? All right, and then how you can use this information here to your advantage. If you're not going to see a whole lot of sellers because we have strong buying in here, just some, a bit of a pullback or sideways action here due to some profit taking, etc. And then we're looking for more buyers to enter back in and take this up higher. Okay, so all price did was spike below this little range in here, and it did not find new sellers willing to take it down lower. We found buyers instead back up above here and then take it back up to the top of the range and then look for the potential to break out from here as well. Okay, so we did get it. It's a bit of you can see it kind of broke out, retested the top of the range, and then continued on. Right, we have high liquidity on the offer or on the bid here, also helping to press price back up into 25. Okay, also note the high liquidity in here as well, around this 22.5 level, taking price higher. All right, so yeah, let's see. I think I answered all your questions. Let's take a look at. I want to show. I said a couple of trades in here, and especially using this new tool with the new trading journal tool that we have. Okay, so Yeah, I'm going to show it in combo here. Just show it. All right. So I can hide that. See this, right? Ah. Never mind. Let's try it again. Okay. There we go. Okay. All right. So here, a few different trades. And let me just zoom into this one here. I think it would be better. And some losses. And I want to show these in here. This was a pretty big loss for me. And what did I see in here? And why I took these decisions in here. All right. So here, I'm not showing a whole lot previously, but there was a move to the upside, a spike here to the high, and some heavy selling coming in. This selling in here was much higher, much higher, as you can see here. And you can see the size of these dots coming in. Now, I came to the party a little late, and this was my selling in here. Okay, and I scaled into this. I scaled in twice. So here's my original position, this purple triangle, and then the next, and then the next. Okay, because this heavy selling in here, I'm looking for it to drop. I'm not looking for it just to trade back down to this level here. I'm looking for it to trade through it because we tested up here, we found nothing but selling, and we had heavy selling coming in here, relative volume compared to the buying over here. Right? This did not work out. In fact, here's my stops up here. I'll show you how to do this as well. Like, I put you consolidated them all together and moved them all at the same time. As price was coming back up to this little area here, I decided, well, hold on a minute here. This is exactly the area here. I'm looking for maybe a retest and then follow through to the downside. So I am going to move my stop away from that. I moved it up to here where this price broke from, and I was willing to take a bigger stop here because I'm looking for a bigger run out of this, and I'm leveraged into it. Yeah, this was a pretty big loss here due to leveraging and scaling into it here. Okay. Now, what did I do wrong here? Right. Well, I moved my stop. I don't know if that's such a big deal. It doesn't bother me too much. But what I did wrong, or what I think, I would take this trade again and again and again. No problem. I think the setup is there. I followed my plan. There's a few different things. One is trading in the afternoon is not my strength. Secondly, and most importantly, is that this was during rollover. A lot of this price action doesn't make a lot of sense. There's different traders with different behavior in here. And I was not anticipating a whole bunch of buying to come back in. And it did. Now, I took my stop and, thank God. Right? This is what stops are for. Got it wrong. Now, I could have gotten it wrong earlier. In fact, I probably should have gotten out somewhere around in here on this retest back up here. Okay, and instead I didn't. I just left it up here and got stopped out. Okay, so tomorrow we're going to have a webinar with Carmine Rosado, and he's going to go through, I believe, the replay mode and how he looks at his previous trades to understand how he can improve, okay, through debriefing your trading. This is how you can really improve your trading, right? So now maybe I was a little over leveraged here. If I'm a little more over leveraged here, then maybe I should have been a little more attentive to my stop, right? So yeah, a few different things in here to consider, and then take that forward to the next next trade, right? So let's see, I have another trade example here. believe. A few different ones. Yeah, I was trying to catch this actually. And had a few stop outs here. Again, selling. I'm looking for that selling to come in. Okay. Here finally got it because I was looking for it. Finally got it here. And then looking for the follow through to the downside. Now, what did I do here? Okay. So I started to see a bit of buying coming in and started to look at some of my levels in here. I decided that I'll take some off here and then let the rest run. Okay, so it broke the bottom of the range here. It was coming down a little bit further here, as you can see, and then into this area here. It's like I'm starting to see those buyers come in, and I had it is rollover after this kind of experience I had earlier. I'm going to take my partial and I'm going to try to let the rest run here. Okay, that was my decision. I moved my target down further here, as you can see, and then I also moved my my stop down. Okay, and then finally here is where I decided just to pull the trigger. And so I saw this buying coming back in, and it's like, okay, I understand my mistake. This is rollover period, and it's not my strength here. I'm going to get out. Okay, and I forget what happened after this, but it did go a little bit my way, but I think it went right back and back up higher. So anyway, that was the trade management into this, and this is the debriefing. Right. So anyway, the trade journal tool, you can see it here. Hold on, I will load this just a second. And you can really get a lot out of this trade journal tool, and you can see my overall here. Right, so that was the loss in here, and this little blip to the downside here. Okay, so and then a few more trades in here, really not much, a little bit of profit, one loser, it looks like, something like that. Okay, but this is the overall from last week, about 10,000 to 11,500 or so, right? So just inching up here, taking some profits, taking some losses, but trading my plan, and average winner compared to average loser. Make sure I'm sticking with my plan, even with the profit ratio here, 51%. Okay, so every time I click the button, I will have, it's like flipping a coin basically. The key here is that my winners are bigger than my losers. Okay, so overall this should work out, right? Guys, use this tool. We're going to have a lot more, and we'll have some special event coming up. I'm going to talk more about it using this tool. Okay, so it's pretty exciting stuff, and we're going to build it out more and more, and it's going to be pretty awesome. I can't wait. Right? All right. So let's get back into the current price action. Let me see if there's any questions I missed along the way here. CMJ, you should have had access. And right now, though, like I think we kind of capped it here on the trade journal. I already ordered my Lamborghini. Yeah, right. Let's see. Any other questions? Hold on just a minute. Yeah, Stan, I if you didn't have access to it, like I think for the beta program, like we've been pitching it here. I think we've capped it now for that beta program, but don't worry, you'll have access to it very, very soon. But this tool has been excellent. And, you know, in our Bookmap Academy, we went over using this tool, or I'm sorry, trading from the Bookmap chart, and using tools like this to gain a much deeper understanding, and to be able to give a much better coaching feedback to the to your content for the Bookmap Academy. All right. Volume profile, we have it here in the subcharts, or I'm sorry, in the columns. If you're, Ahmed, if you're looking for it in a specific area, you cannot draw it right now from the Bookmap chart. What you can do, though, it's kind of a funny workaround, is if you're interested in, like, for example, 1035 to 1040 as a profile, there's a few things to do, actually. One is you can just use the zoom tool to go into that area. And now I've just selected that area, and here is my profile from that area. It's right here. Oops, sorry. Oh, sorry, hold on. Now I got to get out of that tool. And then here's my profile from that area. Okay, and you can see how it relates to the session range volume profile. For the entire session, this is the chart range that I just selected, the chart range. That's one way. Another way, let's go back to the current market, and then how else can we do it? Well, we can use the new footprint tool here. And we can, I can show you this. You can choose a time, we'll use time interval here. You want to look at a specific time interval, let's say 5 minutes. There you go. And then we're going to draw it on the chart. Background type, let's look at our histogram delta. There's our profile. And then we're going to look at the type here. Look at the diagonal delta. Or now let's go with sum, actually. Show the text. It's fine. We can go. Oh, horizontal delta. Let's go with that. Okay, there we go. So now here you go. Here's your profiles here. Okay. So for example, look at this move in here. Okay, this is a great one, a great example where we saw the breakout here. We saw the move back down, and guys, you don't have to have profile to understand this stuff. We go over these concepts again and again and again in Bookmap. It's all here. This is one of them. Look at this profile. There's a lot of selling down here. Okay. Well, what happened to those sellers? They're getting annihilated. There's a stop run here on the way back up. So those sellers in here are the fuel to this move to the upside, helping fuel this move to the upside. This looks like, you know, your weak bottom. Well, instead, it's actually, this is a great indicator of trap volume here. Hey, Rob, I don't know if you had asked also about trap volume, but yeah, here's another nice example of it in using profile. Okay, so I hope that answers your question on profiles. Yes, we do have this tool as well. It is new, but we have many different configurations in here. You can use time interval, reversal, range, volume, etc. We have an interesting one with time if you use the auto scaling as well. It means that when you zoom in and out, this will auto scale to fill in the chart range here with a different profile. Okay, we also have it in the subchart here. Delta as a top number. We have many numbers in here that you can use. Okay, so look at this, right? more buying. Okay, now can we get continuation of buying in here? We should get the move higher, right? Look at all that buying that just came in. Okay, so we look for that, right? Yeah, we're getting it. So where is it going to go? This is where match Bookmap with your heat map. Okay, so maybe up to this kind of 38 level up here. Okay, that would be where we would target this to go. Okay, so anyway, one of the configurations that I have liked is being able to read the volume dots in here without the footprint chart, but being able to have delta down here in the subchart. Okay, so you can do that as well by deselecting your footprint type and background. Okay, so show text, no, and then background, none. Okay, so now I still have delta down here that can give me insight, and then I'm looking for my big volume dots to carry that market higher, and then it worked out pretty nicely here. Okay. All right, so we got footprint, and we have a new VWAP, anchored VWAP tool. I was hoping to demo it here, but I still need to get a bit more insight before. And then I'll have, I think, a video later for you guys today on this anchored VWAP tool. All right, so look for that, and gaining access to it as well. I'm not sure what packages it's included with. All right, let's see what else is going on in here. Okay, so now look at the buying up here again, right? This is not what we're looking for. We wanted to see, like we saw in that profile in here in the volume dot here, we want to see the buy volume up here to be able to move it. So if we don't see that up in here, well, we're going to find some sellers in here, and they're likely going to move it right back down to previous level in here. So where might they go? Let's take a look. Okay, well, it's already come down. See how it's building out this range here. Okay, and last time we saw it just like go down to the bottom of this range, and we found buyers that came back in. Okay, well, let's see if it can break this range now. Okay, and come back down a little lower, and I would look for the top of the previous range in here. So somewhere around here, 34.5. Boy, liquidity, guys, is still it's still kind of iffy here during this rollover period. You can see it. So it's still kind of not the most helpful. Okay, this very short-term, high liquidity, very close to price action. Okay, very indicative of rollover. Okay, this contract has rolled, volume-wise, open interest-wise, no doubt. Liquidity, though, there's other players that are still involved. All right, so let's see. Now let's read that volume within this little range in here, right? That's what we're looking for. Like we went through this example many times yesterday. You can look at your delta down here to also give that insight. So, well, what do we see? You know, it's some selling and some buying back and forth in here. And then yeah, it's kind of, that's kind of a hard read in fact. So here come our sellers, though. They are able to break the range and come back down to the just about the top of this range here. They should be able to hit it, and maybe they can come down a little bit further, 33.5, something like that. Okay, and then I would look for buyers to start to nibble down here and try to move price right back up to you know, these are just short moves in here, but right back to where it dropped from here. Okay, 35.5. Okay, and so those are selling. Okay, now bottom edge here, we're not looking for a lot of selling, or we're looking for a trap. Okay, so let's take a look here. Okay, are we going to get a pullback now? Okay, well, there's our buyers coming back in. Okay, now let's see them lifted a little bit higher here, back to about here, 35.5 or 35 3/4. Okay, well, you can see what's happening here. We're coming back down. We're getting more sellers again, and they're able to drop it lower. And there's our snap away from that area. Okay, all right, buyers. Now let's see if you've got enough to move it back up to our 35.5 here. Okay. And again, even on this move here, the first stop is going to be right here at this 34.75. It's already done it. Okay. Next one would be back up to here, this 30. Let's call it 36. Okay, back up here. And that's as far as we got. And now it's back and forth in here. Okay, all right, we're starting to find our sellers. Now, do we see this coming here? I mean, with a double top, possibly now it's in hindsight, but do we see that transition take place here? Let's look at the delta in here. Not really. There was buying, pretty consistent, and then we saw some of that selling starting to come in, and we're just looking for the move back down to retest these areas and then buyers to come back in. Okay, well, we're getting our answer here. A lot of selling is starting to come in. Okay, so we're looking for them to continue back down to 29, and then it looks like we can come back down and test this 27 here as well. Still, I would still not say there's much clarity in this little area in here. Sellers came in, but we saw our buyers come back in, and look at it again in here, right? Do we see the sellers here? No. But when we see them here again, coming back in with some size, that's where we can get the break of the move. All right, I'm going to take the delta off here. I really like looking at the bars. I like this configuration a lot, but I really like just reading the bars and the dots within the structure. All right, I mean, like this right now, this is a low volume pullback on the buy side, right? It's more selling and compared to the buying in here. So we're still looking for sellers to try to take this down. Okay, so all it did was we got price to come up here and test this area here, and we don't see much buying. So we're looking for sellers to still drive this market, okay, in this time frame. Now, we've retested here, and we're going to see if we get some support or not on that buy side. We may come back up here. And this is the interesting thing about the low volume pullbacks. And we have to be careful and manage our trades really well, because we might have this nice strong selling, low volume on the buy side, back up here. It does not matter though. If we get back up here and we see buying, they can move the market at that point, okay, regardless of it being a low volume pullback. So that's where we just have to exit the position if you're involved in it. And in fact, if you see a flip of the order book, you might want to go with it and go long. Okay, so that would be more of like a, exit and reverse. This low volume pullback is working out pretty well. This is exactly what we typically anticipate, is the move down, low volume, more sellers to move it back down again. Okay. Now we're looking at sellers at the bottom of the range here, and then for them to continue the move lower. Okay, so this can keep you in your trades in here by looking for that behavior. Okay, if you see something different though, well, then it's time to start actively managing it. And this is the first pretty big buy volume coming back in here. However, at the moment, it's failed to move the market. Okay, now it is. Now it's moving it. Okay, so yeah, I would probably exit my position on this then. I'm not looking for those sellers to continue here. Okay, now we're back up to the top of this range in here, and look out. Look at this. We're starting to see that transition take place here in the bars and the dots, and look at the dots where they're transacting. That's what really matters here with the volume. Okay, and we don't have a lot in the order book to lean on in here because of the rollover period. But now we're seeing a nice cluster of buying up here where we had a low volume pullback. Do we have a low volume pullback here again? No, we don't. So we can look for more buyers up here to try to break away from this area and then come back up to probably our first level would be up around this 30, 35 and 3/4. Okay, makes sense. Okay, so again, looking at sellers, here's our low volume pullback, but a bit more selling, but now we're starting to see some buyers. Okay, so we're looking at all of this down here, and also where in the structure is it transacting. Okay, pullback to where these buyers now. We would want to see some support here on the buy side right here. See if we get it. Okay, this is where those buyers came in. This is where they're going to likely buy again. And we don't see them. Okay, more sellers come right back in. So yeah, I would have been out here and reduce that risk, and then also think about taking it back up to the upside here, and I would have missed out on the rest of this move here. Okay, but I started to see this was not a low volume pullback in here. Therefore, I'm going to behave differently. Okay, this was a low volume retest back here to this area. I'm looking for those sellers to roll in and try to take this lower, and this is where it failed, right in here. Right. Anyway, we're looking for a transition from buyers to sellers or sellers to buyers. Okay, on all types of time frames here. All right, let's zoom out. Let's take a look at our bigger picture here and get some more perspective here. Talking about our bigger picture in here. Well, pretty pretty volatile period here about with the data and the CPI in here, and what it means. What do traders think about it? As the initial move was to the downside, and it moved right back up. and then right back down again. And this is how we started off the webinar. This whole little area in here was just all over the place. We came back up in here, and we're looking for a pullback at this point, right? We saw the volume kind of taper off, and we're looking for a pullback. And then I don't know if we caught this one or not, but you can see the volume starting to come back in, and we're looking for the move back up. Yeah, we did. We were looking for it to 15, maybe to 20. It went further. It went up to 25, and then some. So a nice move on the buy side in here. Now let's take a look at this. Are we getting that transition in here in this period, this time frame? Okay, do we see those sellers coming in? A little bit, right? Still buy side basically. Okay, until we see something else. Okay, on the higher time, on a bit higher time frame. We can look at our candlestick bars in here as well, and what's going on with the price action. Here's the day, and you know, daily on the left, hourly here on the in the middle, and then the 15-minute on the right. Now, yesterday we had that move lower, and yeah, right around in here, and pretty choppy action, as you guys can see. We ended up lower down here. Oh, I'm sorry, this was yesterday. And we ended up down by these wicks in here. We spiked below it and then right back up into this range here. And it just kind of grinded higher. This was yesterday's action here. Sorry about that. And then today, well, here's what happened. You can see the move higher, the spike and retest all the way back down here. And then a move right back up, and we're finding buyers. Right. So what's it looking like here on the 15-minute chart? Well, it's still bullish here. We just had a bit of a pullback. We'd look for more buyers to come right back in on these two time frames, also on the daily. You know, we've got an outside day here, looking for continuation. Maybe we can get back up to all-time highs. Okay, so let's look for that in Bookmap, and here we go. Okay, this is our pullback. Here come our buyers. Here's our buyers back up to where it failed earlier, and this looks good. It looks strong. We're looking for continuation here on up to 38, 40. Maybe we can even get up to 52.50. Right? Can you guys see the difference here? Right? Now we're looking for that continuation and this buy volume to be strong up here, and it is. And now we never know, right? There might be sellers that come in that are stronger, like that example I showed you from my trade yesterday. And I had really strong sell volume, and then all of a sudden buyers came in, and they overpowered that strong selling. Okay, well, maybe the same will happen here. We don't know, but we do know is this has been strong, it's been consistent. We're looking for this to continue until we see something different. All right, let's see if we can get back up here. Looking for our breakout now. I'm seeing not many sellers. I'm seeing more buyers. I'm looking for it to break out here. Again, this is not a trade recommendation, but we're looking for those buyers to take it higher here. And let's see it, buyers. You've got it if you want it. Now, one of the scenarios that we see in here all the time is buyers start to and they stop. Sellers will give it one last go, trying to move the market away. You get your responsive sellers in here, trying to move it back down into mean reversion areas, and then we find those buyers scoop it right back up and come back up here, and then finally get our breakout. We saw that so many times some years ago that that was our strategy at that point. It was just like, okay, we're looking for the breakout. However, we're waiting for that big pullback first, and then we're going to buy it. Okay, where are they? Where are the buyers? Not seeing them yet. See, this is our exhaustion here. There's a little bit of selling, a little bit of buying. All right, buyers, here you go. Okay, so Let's see now. We're looking for buying pressure to break this top here and to explore higher. Okay, that is the primary scenario here. Secondary scenario, well, we can look for maybe that buying and then it stops and see maybe selling coming in. Okay, but this is the primary scenario here and looking for this continuation now. We've done this big pullback here and we found strong buying coming right back in. This parlays into our flag pattern, in fact, Rob. Yeah, the one thing is about the trap traders in here, we don't see quite as much. There, maybe some down in here. And then we look for a follow through on that with a stop run. And we do have a stop run here. Yeah, the one thing that, Rob, that is not the cleanest and clearest was from yesterday, that behavior. And it was funny. It was on a call with a trader, and we joked about that. It's like, yeah, just like, it's like, hey, this is what I was looking for, and nope, it didn't pan out. And it's like, God, I'd take that, every day though. And it's like, yeah, it's rollover though. What are you doing? So anyway, that's where you just have to be really careful in different environments like that. Okay, market timing, really important. Coming up, to the close of a session or another, like the European session, we know, or the close, the open, the behavior is going to be different during the economic events as well. Yeah, see what we're talking about? Like, we're looking for that breakout, looking for it, strong buying. Now some sellers came in. And we're not finding those buyers willing to take this higher right now. So watch these sellers. They'll probably come back, try to take this back down. The first little areas here would be bottom of this little range here or here. So around maybe 33, let's say. And then we're going to see if buyers are going to support it down here at 33. They'll let this kind of slip away and let the sellers take it down to 33. Okay, maybe to this cluster here and where this buying came in. Maybe 31 or 32. Look at how the selling's drying up here. Did you guys see that? Okay, like selling, some selling, lack of, now some buying. Right? So now are we ready here? Maybe this is it. Let's look for it. Let's look for these buyers here. All right, a little bit. Looks pretty good. I think we can get back up here to 37. And then maybe we can get our breakout here. That looks pretty good. So buyers are willing now. All right, so now if they're willing, we should get our price discovery, because we traded up here before. We found some sellers. We're back up here again, and we're finding buyers again. So they should be willing to take this higher here. All right, so now we can just stay in it here and look for this to continue. Anyway, guys, we're talking about some small time frames in here with the trade management and some scalping on these lower time frames. The market structure, volume, and order flow, though, is the same on all these time frames. So, for example, if you were in this impulse move here and then you're sticking with it in here, well, you'd still be in this, right? You'd still be looking for this to continue. Right? You didn't get this move to shake you out. It didn't even come back down to our 33.5 level that we were looking at here. bottom of this little range, or even 33 down here. Didn't even make it. Right? And then we saw those buyers starting to curl back in again here. It makes sense. If you don't already, try to calculate your errors every day or week. It really opened my eyes. Yeah, I totally am with you on this, Kenji. This is how we improve. Yep. Yeah, exactly. You need to debrief. Again, like Carmine Rosado is going to go over how he does it tomorrow. I can't wait. To be at 4:30 Eastern, okay, here in the U.S. Interesting, Kenji. Like you're talking about um, your deep dive on your stats. Oh, I'm already profitable, and I'm just throwing my money away. It's really, if you don't understand what you did wrong, you're going to repeat it. And you're just going to lose again. It's a really important part. And that's why we have this Bookmap Academy, so you can debrief your trading. Yeah, preservation of capital, absolutely. Again, that's what's really nice about this journaling tool. If I can bring it up again here, you got your MFA and maximum favorable and adverse excursions in here, and we'll have numbers on this and be able to put this into a study as well. But right now you can just look at your numbers in here. You don't want to see more on the MAE side compared to the favorable side. They look at this one, 0 to 12. Well, yeah, I really got that one wrong, right? No question about that, right? This one here got it pretty right? 36 in my favor, 1 against me, 1 tick against me. That was it. And some of these others in here, like this is getting chopped up in here. Okay, 5, 10. Even this one here. This one's a winner here, but this is not good. 13 against me. Look at this one. 424. Right? We want to look more like this in here. We want to see double digits on the left-hand side, single digits on the right-hand side. Okay? So, and then scaling in, etc. We really want to. That's where we're going to make the, take this equity curve here that is just kind of grinding higher here, and start to leverage it. When we start to leverage it, you'll start to see more of an exponential curve, right? But this is good. This is fine. You're learning. You're putting the pieces together. You are you can trust your setups. You can make a little bit of money. Okay. Second step in here is to start to scale. And once you understand your setups and what you're looking for, and you have an edge, and now you leverage that edge. All right, guys, still looking for this to go higher here. We just had a bit of a pullback in here, but here's our sellers versus our buyers. Okay, so we're still seeing more buyers here. So we're going to stick with that side until we see something different. And now, and it's not just sellers and buyers, it's market structure as well. Like buyers up into here, they can't make a higher high in here. Even though we see more buyers coming in, they can't make a higher high. Okay? So this is where it can be a little more convoluted, but offers us so much information. Okay, this is where, you know, you CVD guys who love your CVD or whatever it is, um, some sort of indicators, you can get some additional insight in here. Okay, so we can look at our CVD here, and we're still seeing more buyers than sellers in here, right? However, sellers are starting to take this away. So what are we looking for in here now? If we see more sellers in here pressing down here, we're looking for a pretty big stop run in here. We would anticipate that. And then yeah, this actually makes sense. This maybe was our stop run here. And this is where we can find those buyers, scoop it back up if we don't see a lot of sellers here. And we can come back up in here and then see the structure start to break here. Okay, so our structure to break, what are we looking for? Well, this area here, 35.5, we want to see buyers up here. Okay, and they're failing right now. Still failing to make a higher high here. More sellers here. Okay, so sellers should be able to take it down. Okay, now it's starting to shift and change now. See, now we see more buyers. Still not able to make a higher high here. Okay, watch this. Watch this. Sellers will likely come in here and likely take this down, because we cannot seem to break the structure here. Okay, now we are. Now we are. All right. So now that we have our buyers in here breaking that structure, look what happened. Okay. So now we're back to here. Okay. Well, we've gotten above our 35 level, and we've clearly now seen the buyers come back in. Okay. So here's a pullback. Again, looking for buyers back up here. Now we're looking for the move back up to 37 and on up. Right. This is this transition, this shift. We were looking actually earlier. Wow, they cannot, these buyers, they're buying, but they cannot make it higher. We're looking for that stop run. Let's turn our, this is how I'd love to use the stop indicator in here. Well, we didn't see a stop run in here. Okay, so a lot of those buyers were still in this game here. They didn't get stopped out. Okay, and then now we can look for a continuation pattern out of this too. Okay, so here's impulse move, our pullback, and then right back here, now we're looking for our second impulse move, and then on up to, I don't know, let's look at 38 or 40 here as a target. Okay, 38 liquidity starting to, you can see more coming in here now. We've been flying a little blind on the order book in here, but due to this rollover, we look for not just volume and structure, we look for that order book to guide us as well. Okay, still chopping on this pullback here. And now, just here's our little level here. See how we just poke below here? Okay, now do we get buyers back up above? Starting to. All right, let's see them come back up to 36.5, 36 3/4. Come on. For them. Here we go. There's a bit. Okay, let's see them now move it back up here, 36.5. Okay, and we know it auctioned up here, and there's a nice cluster. So we're looking for it to come back up here and auction again, and then maybe get our discovery higher. Huh. Sellers keep grinding it lower here, but followed up with more buying coming right back in. Okay, all the way back down to the swing. And still, look at we're still seeing nothing but buyers. Same thing. Looking for them to scoop it up here and bring it back up here. Okay, and then when do we know that they've got it is when they come back up to here, 35, and then we see that buying. Okay, there's some exhaustion and some selling. Now we want to come up here, we got to see them, and then we're looking for the continuation. There's a little bit, we got to see a lot more. There we go, there's a bit more. Okay, so now we're looking for the buyers to move it here at this point. Again, not a trade recommendation, guys, but this is what we're looking for. This would be the primary scenario. Then back up to our 36 and a half or so. And we're not getting it, not yet. Okay, here we go. One more attempt here. Another rotation. Looking better, looking more likely now. There's some exhaustion here, no selling here. So, and our buying cluster up here. Again, this is it. This is what we're looking for, you know, and this is the setup. Okay, now it may not play out. Okay, this rollover period in here, this has been challenging. Okay, like I showed that loss from yesterday. So it, you know, I would just cut it. If it doesn't play out the way that I'm looking for it, it is not behaving the way that I know this setup from my studies. Therefore, I'm out. Just cut it. Just cut the loss. Move on. Wait for the next one. Okay. Now you'd still be in it. Like it hadn't spiked below this range here yet. Okay, but it might. And then that's that. Okay, so here we go. Here, back up here yet again, and let's see if we get our buyers. Nope, still not getting them really. Okay, I'm out. That would be that. Okay, and this to me doesn't make much sense. Right now, we're going to get our stop run now, and that's we knew that if we can get all these buyers upside down in here. Okay, now I would still look for this again because we know this is a stop run, but if we got to get back up here again around this 34.5. Okay, after a stop run. Okay, so you can still look for it, but take the small loss is what I like to do. Okay, and then just don't worry about it, and then wait for the next one. And it still may play out. Even you can even look at this as a potential reversal pattern in here, but boy, it does not look good. This to me still looks like continuation. It's just pulled back, and then still looking for those buyers to come back in. And they still may, right? And come back up in here, okay, after this big stop run. So, and then, you'll not only recoup that small loss, but you'll get a gainer out of it. And let's see if we get that. Okay, so you can even trade it up to it. You can see the buying coming in here. You can trade up to it here. And then depending on how it behaves up here, maybe you take a profit, or maybe you hold it. Okay, that's pretty aggressive, but something to consider. We've talked about it. Yeah, I like to scalp the order flow. Kenji. And I don't really have a lot of time, so we're pretty busy here at Bookmap. But yeah, it's the small scalps that, I mean, I'd love to. We talked about this a little bit in the Bookmap Academy, like with Donkey was looking at a very particular setup, and then we're talking about the higher time frame coming back in, right? And then you love to see those moves, and then those are the ones you can zoom out. Like right now, let's see if we can get this move here that we were talking about, because there's still a lot of buying in here, right? Is this a double top in here that you'd be looking for? No. Not me. I mean, I'm seeing continuation out of this here. This is just in this picture here, this is just a pullback. Okay, I don't see a reversal pattern in here, okay, due to the volume within the structure. Okay, this is just maybe it's the rollover, maybe it's something else, but I'm still looking for these buyers to take it higher. And I have my reasons. I am leaning on all of this in here, okay, to take it higher. All right, guys. Well, let's see. I think I've got to get going here. I've got another appointment. It's getting a little more convoluted in here. We don't know if they're going to be able to take it higher, but anyway, yeah, you could have traded up to it, but let's see if we get it here on this rotation, okay? Because it exhausted here, but now we're looking for them again here, and then a break, and we're not getting it, not yet. Okay, one more. Wait, one more rotation here to see if we get it. No, more sellers. Yeah, all right. Well, it's yeah, I mean, yeah, bigger picture in here. I do, you see that relative volume in here on the sell side moving it down, but the relative volume on the buy side too, coming right back up. So, and then in this area in here, this is what we're leaning on here, right? Now it's breaking down, but we're still looking, and we know that was a stop run here, but we're looking for it to come back up here. Here we go. Now, let's see if we can get it now. Now we got some sellers trapped in here as well. and this is where we can get a nice move at this point, or a nicer move, let's put it that way. These are our trap sellers in here. We know that's a stop run, but like there's some sellers in here. Now we got to get our big green dot up here, and then our break, and then back up to 36, and then maybe up to 38, and then 40. Okay, that's the scenario we're looking for. Getting our green dot here. They are buyers, and let's see if they can continue though. Okay, and we're looking for, we already got our stop run here actually. Let's see if we can get our continuation now. And this should happen pretty quickly, and we should move up to like 36, 37 pretty quickly here. Okay, we'll break this range here and then come back up here where it can auction on that buy side. Thanks, WRB. Yeah, it's kind of stubborn, sticky price action in here. It's still kind of dealing with maybe a little bit of rollover, but this is what we're looking for, right? We looked for it many times over and didn't work out, and here we go. Okay, and now we've got a lot more to kind of lean on too, with some of the trap selling in here to try to now goose the market higher here. All right, guys. Well, thanks for coming, everybody. And tomorrow we have JTrader stocks, and then Thursday. Scott is off on Thursday, so no Scott. He is taking some time off this week, so we will see him, I believe, next week, though. Right. So just to let you know, and then I'll be back on Friday. All right. Thanks for coming, everybody. We'll see you then.